Okay, so if you have been literally anywhere online, especially on Book Talk, you have seen Fourth Wing. It's this fantasy novel that has just taken over the world, hitting every bestseller list and getting more than 1 billion views on TikTok. So, what is all the hype about? Let's get into it and break down the story that has everybody absolutely obsessed.
Right off the bat, this is the first thing you need to know. This one line tells you everything about Bastiath War College, the super elite, super deadly school for dragon riders where this all goes down. There are no dropouts here. You either make it to graduation or you end up in the morgue. The stakes are, quite literally, life or death from page 1.
So, what's the vibe of this book? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like this. You take the whole deadly competition vibe from The Hunger Games, you mix in the absolute magic of bonding with dragons from How to Train Your Dragon, and then you throw in a very, very spicy enemies-to-lovers romance. Yeah, it's a mix that is basically literary catnip, just completely irresistible. All right, so let's meet the hero who gets thrown into this meat grinder. Her name is Violet Sorrengail, and she is so not your typical warrior in training.
And this right here is her main problem. See, Violet is small, her body is physically frail, and all she ever wanted was to be a scribe. Just live a quiet life surrounded by books and history. But no, her mom, who just happens to be the commanding general, basically forces her into the Riders Quadrant. It's a death sentence, plain and simple, and Violet has zero choice but to try and survive it.
And that survival is not going to be easy, because this is the culture at Bastiath. You see, there are way more cadets than there are dragons to bond with. The math is brutal. That means the competition isn't just tough, it's deadly. Your own classmates would rather kill you in your sleep to thin the herd than help you out.
So in a place that is basically designed to kill someone like her, how does she possibly make it? Well, not with strength, that's for sure. She does it with her brain and by learning to deal with some very complicated relationships.
And speaking of complicated, enter Exiden Rierson. This guy is the most powerful, most feared student in the entire school, and he has a really, really good reason to hate Violet. Her mom executed his dad, so when he's made her wing leader, Violet is convinced he's just biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to kill her. The tension between them, it's electric from the second they meet. So how does this bookworm who's not supposed to be here survive actual combat training? She fights smarter, not harder. Using all that knowledge she picked up studying to be a scribe, she starts ever so slightly poisoning her opponents with herbs before they have to spar. It's totally ruthless, absolutely brilliant, and it's what keeps her alive. Her brain comes in handy again during the Gauntlet, this insane obstacle course designed to weed people out. She gets to this massive climbing wall she just can't scale, so what does she do? She jams her daggers into the wall and uses them as climbing picks to pull herself up. It's a move that leaves everyone speechless. And get this, the one person who defends her right to do it is Xaden, the guy who should want her dead more than anyone. Okay, so after somehow surviving all of that, it's time for the main event, the Thresher. This is where the cadets go out onto a field and present themselves to the dragons, just hoping, praying one of them chooses them. It's chaotic, it's terrifying, and it's the moment that is about to change Violet's life forever. In the middle of all this chaos, Violet spots a group of cadets ganging up on a small golden dragon. They think it's weak, so they're planning to kill it. Now, even though she is terrified and completely outmatched, something inside her just snaps. She gets right between them and the little dragon, fully prepared to die for it. And just as she's about to be killed, this enormous, monstrous black dragon, the biggest, baddest one anyone has seen in centuries, comes screaming out of the sky. But he doesn't attack her. He lands and saves her. And then, in front of the entire school, this absolute legend of a dragon, Tyrn, chooses tiny, fragile Violet to be his rider. And if your jaw isn't on the floor yet, wait for it. The little golden dragon she saved, her name is Andarna. And she also chooses to bond with Violet. That means she gets 2 dragons, something that has literally never, ever happened in the history of the college. In one afternoon, Violet goes from being the weakest person there to the most powerful and the most hunted first year they've ever seen.
So being this powerful new rider makes her an even bigger target. But it also uncovers this totally shocking connection that ties her, for life, to her #1 enemy, Xaden. Okay, so this is where the plot gets really good. It turns out that Violet's giant black dragon Tyrn is actually made it to Xaden's dragon scale. And because of that, their riders are now linked. You see, if Violet dies, Xaden could be fatally weakened or even die too. So just like that, he is forced to become the protector of the one person everyone expected him to kill.
And that new alliance gets put to the test almost right away. When some cadets attack Violet in her sleep, little Andarna, the Golden Dragon, reveals she has a secret power. She can stop time for a few seconds. It's just enough for Violet to react, and then boom, Xaden appears out of the shadows and just handles the attackers, saving her life.
This line from Xaden and his little nickname for her, Violence, just perfectly sums up how everything is changing between them. He says it after she almost gets killed in a duel, and you can just feel that his anger is covering up how terrified he was for her. Yeah, that line between enemy and protector, it's getting real blurry.
So, for their final exam, the cadets have to do a war games exercise. But what Violet and her friends are about to find out is that the entire war they've been training to fight is just one big lie. First thing they learn, this whole mission is a setup. The command has sent Xaden and all the other kids of the rebellion far away from the school, not for an exercise, but to be used as bait, to be killed.
Then, boom, the next reveal. Violet finds out that the Griffin Riders, the people they've been told are their mortal enemies, are actually Xaden's secret allies. They've been working together this whole time.
And why have they been working together? Because the real enemy is something else entirely. They're called the Venin, these evil magic users, and their horrifying monsters, the Wyverns. Violet thought they were just things from fairy tales, but they're real, and the government has been covering it all up.
In the massive battle that breaks out, Violet's own power finally explodes into existence. She can control lightning. But the win comes with a heartbreaking price. Her best friend Liam dies, saving her life. Consumed by grief, she unleashes one last massive lightning strike, but not before a venom blade poisons her, leaving her dying on the battlefield.
Xaden grabs a dying Violet and flies her to a secret rebel hideout. And just when you think you can finally take a breath, the book hits you with one last, absolutely mind-blowing twist.
The person who helps heal her is her brother, Brennan, the brother who was supposedly killed in action 6 years ago. He's alive. He's part of the rebellion, and that's the agonizing cliffhanger we're left with. So, what would you do? When your greatest enemy is your only protector, your government has lied about everything, and the brother you thought was long dead is standing right in front of you, asking you to join him?